US and Ukrainian negotiators have created an updated peace framework and will keep refining it over the next few days, both countries said on Sunday. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio said they had made a tremendous amount of progress on improving the 28-point draft plan, though some work still remains before they present a final version to Russia. "I feel very optimistic that we're going to get there in a very reasonable period of time," he said. Rubio explained that the teams were adjusting parts of the plan to narrow differences and reach something both Ukraine and the US can accept. He added that the final agreement will need approval from Presidents Zelenskyy and Trump before it goes to Moscow, and he felt confident that both leaders would agree given the progress so far.
Hi, guys. All right, we had a very good day today. I think we made a tremendous amount of progress, even from the last time I spoke to you, and I apologize for keeping you waiting, but there was more work to be done. You know, we began almost 3 weeks ago with a foundational document that we socialized and ran by both sides, and with input from both sides. And one of the things that happens when you've been involved in this now for 10 months is you get a pretty good sense of what the priorities and the red lines and the important issues are for both sides. And so that allowed us to create a foundational document, which has been an ongoing working document. In fact, over the last 96 hours or more, there's been extensive engagement with the Ukrainian side, including our Secretary of the Army and others being on the ground in Kyiv, meeting with relevant stakeholders across the Ukrainian political spectrum in the legislative branch and the executive branch and the military and others to further sort of narrow these points. We arrived here today with one goal, and the goal was to take is 28 points or 26 points, depending on which version as it continued to evolve, and try to narrow the ones that were open items. And we have achieved that today in a very substantial way. Now, obviously, like any final agreement, they'll have to be agreed upon by the presidents. And there are a couple issues that we need to continue to work on. But I think the report today is that I think today was worthwhile. It was very, very, it is probably the most productive day we have had on this issue. Maybe in the entirety of our engagement, but certainly in a very long time. But work remains, and because this continues to be a working process, I don't want to declare victory or finality here. There's still some work to be done, but we are much further ahead today at this time than we were when we began this morning and where we were a week ago for certain.
U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll and Trump's Special Envoy Steve Witkoff joined Rubio in the talks. Rubio noted that Russia will also have to approve the final peace plan. Andriy Yermak, the head of Ukraine's delegation and the president's chief of staff, confirmed that the first round of discussions had ended and that a second meeting would follow soon.
Dear journalist, dear Marco, and I want to confirm that we have a very productive first session with distinguished American delegation. We have very good progress, and we are moving forward to the just and lasting peace. Ukrainian people deserve and want this peace more than anyone in this planet. We thank our big friends, United States and personal President Trump and his team to their commitment to bring this peace. And we will continue to work today, as Secretary said. We will be working and in coming days to join proposals, and we will also will engage our European friends. And of course, the final words will be of our leaders, of the President of United States and Ukraine. And I hope that we can achieve the good progress today. Thank you.
In a joint statement, the U.S. and Ukraine said the talks in Geneva had been highly productive. According to the statement, the discussions were constructive and showed a shared commitment to a just and lasting peace. The two sides agreed that any final agreement must fully respect Ukraine's sovereignty and aim for a durable peace. They promised to keep working on joint proposals in the coming days. President Zelenskyy wrote on Telegram that the delegations held substantive conversations and would continue them. He said it was important to keep direct dialogue with the American side and noted that Trump's team is hearing us. He stressed that any steps toward ending the war must be effective and realistic. Speaking to Sweden's parliament on Monday, Zelenskyy called this a critical moment for Ukraine. He warned that President Putin wants legal recognition for territory Russia seized and aims to undermine the principle of territorial integrity, not only for Ukraine but globally. Zelenskyy added that Ukraine had kept key issues, such as the release of all Ukrainian prisoners of war, on the negotiation table. He said more work remains to achieve real peace. U.S. and Ukrainian officials said the American peace proposal had been reduced from 28 points to 19 after the Geneva talks. They described the discussions as constructive but not final. The original 28-point proposal had caused concern in Kyiv and across Europe. Zelenskyy warned that Ukraine could be forced to choose between defending its sovereign rights and maintaining vital American support. He has repeatedly said that Ukrainians will always defend their homeland. Trump, for his part, posted on Truth Social on Monday, "Is it really possible that big progress is being made in peace talks between Russia and Ukraine? Don't believe it until you see it, but something good just may be happening." He had earlier given Ukraine a deadline of Thursday to accept the plan, though he later suggested he could extend that deadline if there was real progress. Kyiv has pushed for changes to the draft, which included several of Russia's hardline demands, such as giving up territory, reducing its military, and promising never to join NATO. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said Ukraine's allies in the coalition of the willing, roughly 30 countries supporting Kyiv, would discuss the negotiations on Tuesday via video call. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz welcomed the interim result from the Geneva talks and said the U.S. proposal had been modified in significant parts, though he gave no details. Trump, who has publicly supported the peace plan, complained on Sunday that Ukraine had not shown enough gratitude for American efforts. Ukrainian officials quickly reiterated their appreciation for U.S. support. Despite the tense atmosphere, Rubio described Sunday's talks with Ukraine as possibly the most productive since Trump returned to office. He said the plan would undergo changes to move toward a solution acceptable to both Ukraine and the U.S. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen repeated Europe's position. Borders cannot be changed by force, and Ukraine's status as a sovereign nation means it must not face military limits that leave it exposed to future attacks or threaten Europe's security.
Ukraine's territory and sovereignty must be respected. Only Ukraine, as a sovereign country, can make decisions regarding its armed forces. The choice of their destiny is in their own hands.
That's all for now from Global Pulse Unplugged. Stay sharp, stay informed, and we'll see you next time.